Pulling coming head to head. Coming head to head with that CHP cruiser. They may try and wipe him out here. No.
Welcome to Viral Twist. A passenger jumps out mid-chase and the other one's on the phone. Was this a crime or a carpool comedy? You won't believe how it ends.
Yeah, just a few miles back, he actually slowed down, let a passenger out of the car. He or she went running away from the vehicle, and then the pursuit continued on. We have no way of knowing whether there's anybody else inside that car other than the driver. We haven't gotten a close enough view yet of that driver's seat, but at least one passenger who was in the car exiting the vehicle as this pursuit now continues up Vermont Avenue. Looks like 4 CHP units staying with him again through another red light. You can see those units behind him kind of protectively blocking traffic, and I would not be surprised if we start to see some South LA units start to block off intersections ahead of him. So you've got about 5 units right behind him. They would love to be able to get units in position ahead of him to prevent any kind of cross-traffic collisions as he continues to go through these red lights. It's not a high-speed chase at this point, but he certainly is showing very, very reckless disregard for other driver safety, even though he's slowing down for some of those red lights, just going right through them, and at times, as I mentioned, up on sidewalks and in oncoming lanes of traffic, like right here. Look at that. He is now on the southbound side going north on Vermont Avenue. Very dangerous situation, definitely escalating the pursuit here, and what that does is it puts law enforcement in a position where they are less likely to cancel the pursuit. They're less likely to just let him go, because now he is really posing a major danger to public safety in the middle of rush hour. Yeah, they have given the go-ahead in this situation to execute a pit maneuver if they have the opportunity. The problem is the opportunity requires no other motorists in immediate danger, no pedestrians crossing the street, and the speeds have to slow down to about 30-35 miles per hour. It looks like that unit right there may be closing in on him, and if he slows down just enough, we might actually see that pit attempt to try and spin this car around here. Coming up on another intersection, that's going to be Vermont Avenue and Vernon. The car squeezing through on the right. Another red light. That's the pit attempt, and it looks like he didn't really have a good shot there. So it continues north. He continues to push the pedal to the metal here and kind of accelerate through that pit attempt. Eastbound turn on King there. Yep, right south of the campus. So he's now made that turn towards the Harbor Freeway. He's going to come up on the 110 freeway here and have an opportunity to get on the freeway. I can tell you if he does that, both the north and southbound lanes of the 110 freeway are pretty much jam-packed right now. He won't get very far very fast if he does decide to get on the freeway, and that will happen here in the next 30 to 40 seconds. I presume he's going to stay on King and just continue this pursuit. It looked like, as we got that glimpse, as he made that turn, we kind of were able to make out a passenger in that passenger seat, unconfirmed, but it did look to be somebody in that passenger seat. Right, so he stopped just short of the freeway and made that southbound turn on Figueroa, paralleling the 110 freeway. It looks like traffic is pretty sparse on the southbound lanes, but really to perform that pit safely, those northbound lanes are going to have to be cleared as well. You want to limit any damage to city property, you want to limit any damage to parked cars, but if they have the opportunity, we might see it here. We might see well, now it looks like he's coming up on some more traffic. And look at that. Every time he comes up on traffic, he just goes right around it. He slowly kind of crawls around either over the WL lines into oncoming lanes, just kind of squeezing through, trying to evade these CHP officers. Yeah, southbound on Figueroa. Now he's kind of really done a complete zigzag up and down South LA, first on the east side of the 110 freeway, then back up Vermont, and now he's basically retracing his steps, but he's essentially covering the same real estate, going up and down South LA, up and down either side of the 110 freeway. More CHP units joining the pursuit here. I presume they are, well, the best information I have is that they are indeed waiting for LAPD to eventually take this over, although it does not appear that those units have arrived yet. We've heard several calls out for LAPD to take this over. Right now, it is still all 3 of those vehicles right there, at least, are all CHP cruisers. CHP at this point does have that information, but at this point we don't know why exactly Sheriff's Department decided to initiate this pursuit. It's interesting, though, because at one point they eventually decided to hand it off to CHP rather than holding on to the pursuit. That could be for any number of reasons, quite frankly, but that was an intentional decision on the part of the Sheriff's Department. At one point, I'm not sure if it even ended up on the freeway, but that would be the primary reason we would see CHP take it over. But as far as I know, I have not heard anything else about the original want, and quite frankly, haven't even heard what freeway he traveled on, maybe the 710 to get up from Bell Gardens. But in any event, he is continuing all the way south now, down Figueroa at 58th Street, a little more traffic once again, and then right around through another red light here, and look at all of those CHP units going right along with him. They obviously feel like they have the clearance to do so. They have no cross traffic, and so they will continue what is essentially, I don't want to say it's a slow speed pursuit, but it's certainly not a very high speed pursuit. At certain times, he's definitely stepped on the gas, specifically when he tried to evade that pit maneuver. But he's just kind of going along for the joyride here more than anything else. And hopefully, as we come up around the driver's side here, perhaps we'll be able to get a better glimpse through that driver's side window. I thought it was rolled down for a minute, but it looks like that driver's side window is rolled back up, and we can see clearly now a passenger possibly on the cell phone in that passenger seat. Yep, coming back towards us. So we're making an about face now. We're turning around with them, going back up the Harbor Freeway, and it's really, you know, for us up here in Air 7 HD, it's like a cat and mouse situation. Another southbound turn now on Figueroa, and we will try and keep eyes on him again, but now he's passing us in the other direction. You can kind of tell just by the expert camera work by Rob Gluckman in the back of Air 7 HD right now, doing an amazing job of trying to keep eyes on this very squirrely driver, really just weaving his way through South LA and zigzagging these streets, taking these officers along for quite a joyride this afternoon. But unfortunately, it is just so dangerous when you consider all of the people who don't see this coming, whether it's pedestrians crossing the street or other motorists in this area. It is a very dangerous situation regardless. And now we're right back to where we were earlier. Once again, this is going to take him right under the 110 freeway at the 105 and the 110. And if history is any indicator here, I would venture to say his next turn, if he does turn, is eventually going to be a northbound turn. He has yet to travel south of the 105. Look at that. Oh, a close call with that innocent motorist there as he made that random right. That's Broadway, turning off of Imperial Highway onto Broadway. I said it right there. It looked like he was going to make that northbound turn, and sure enough, he decided to make a right turn from the left lane and came within a hair of that sedan. I don't think they made contact there, but that's the risk they run. Very, very dangerous there. Almost got somebody hurt. Continuing now northbound on Broadway from Imperial Highway, once again paralleling the Harbor Freeway. Yeah, and once again continuing back up the same stretch that he was on before, back into the Southgate area, which again, you know, I mean, it's really anybody's guess at this point because these turns have been so random. But a lot of time, again, in Southgate, not sure if he is familiar with this area, but this is the neighborhood where I think that passenger stopped and got out of the vehicle. I think it was in this vicinity where the passenger exited the vehicle. Look at this, a wild turn there. Oh, that was a spike attempt. A spike attempt. That's how predictable it was. That was how predictable it was. Unfortunately, he was able to weave around it, but this is a pattern that he has established, so much so they actually had the opportunity to lay one down there. Unfortunately, it didn't work, but we'll see if they try it again. Might be going into a shopping mall here. All right, pulling coming head to head with that CHP cruiser. They may try and wipe him out here. No. Wow, he was able to squeeze by that. Here comes the pit. Here comes the pit if he picks up a little speed. You also can't go too slow for a good pit maneuver either. You have to be going right in that sweet spot of 15 to 30 miles per hour. If he's too slow, that will not flip the inertia switch and the vehicle will still be able to move. So we'll see if they come up here. There's a narrow stretch of residential street here. A lot of parked cars, but it looks, there it is, There it is, and the vehicle stopped, and that's it. They know it's over. Hands out the window. The passenger and driver with their hands out the windows that are rolled down. They were ready for it. They knew that this was the end, and that officer with a textbook pit maneuver at the end of this pursuit at California Street and Seville Avenue. Now it is just a matter of executing a felony stop. The K-9 unit ready in case things go sideways, but it certainly appears that these two, at least the two that we know of, not sure if there's anybody in the back seat, but we know of these two suspects now ready to give themselves up with their hands, at least the passenger hands out the window, and I saw the driver at one point with his hands out the driver's side window as well. This Honda CRV at gunpoint now.